Are you guys ready for another unscientific review of a lens? Let me put some mist on here. So I've been using this lens I'm talking about for, gosh, about like 6 months now. And I've taken it to Venice, Como, Portofino, Milan, which is where I am now, Bologna. God, I've taken it to so many places and I've used it for so many projects and I've yet to talk about it. And it's a lens that has replaced a lens that I've been using forever, which was the Canon 16-35 f2.8 Mark I, which I really liked. So yeah, if you haven't guessed it already, if you haven't seen from my previous video, this is the RF 15-35 f2.8. I think it is the best wide-angle zoom that you can get if you have an unlimited budget. Now, I did talk about the RF 24-70 f2.8. This is my favorite photography lens now. But if I want something with a slightly wider angle, that's where this lens comes to play. Now, let's start with the most important thing when it comes down to purchasing a lens. Whenever I do reviews, I like to talk about this. If you were to try to purchase the Canon Rf 15-35, it would cost you around 2,200 euros right now. Dollars, I'll write it somewhere because I gotta check. And yeah, that's a pretty hefty amount of money to spend on a lens, so is it really worth it? Now, the first thing we'll talk about is the build. Now, this is a very heavy, bulky lens, kind of like the 24-70. The quality of this RFL lineup is ridiculous. Yes, it's a soft plastic and rubber build, but the plastic feels amazing in hand. Everything about them is very clicky and functional, and it just a lot of thought process definitely went into these types of lenses. I've dropped my 24-70 f2.8 from about a meter or so high, and no problem, not even a scratch, all elements, everything is fine. These are really tanks of lenses, and that's really what you get with L series lenses, not to mention the weather sealing. I mean, I've shot in some pouring rain with these lenses and never had any issues. I'm really comfortable throwing this lens in my bag attached to my camera without really worrying about anything breaking. Obviously, you shouldn't throw anything inside of anyone's bag, but it's nice to know that it is something of quality. But one thing I will mention about the build is that it's quite heavy and long and big, and you do notice it when shooting. These aren't small lenses, and it makes it a bit more complicated if you're like a vlogger or something like that and you want something to easily take around. That said, the quality I think makes it worth it. Moving on to the quality, it's perfect. The moment I changed from the 16-35 to the 15-35, I noticed instantly the image quality was ridiculously high. Contrast is beautiful. When I brought this lens everywhere, vlogging with it, shooting things with it, it just looks so good. The photos and videos, the image quality are just perfect. I never notice any imperfections with the lenses, and I've used many different lenses and nothing performs as consistently as this RF lineup. It really does allow me to see the full 45 megapixel images that come out of the R5, which are beautiful. Not to mention, that 4K just looks even sharper than it did before. And I guess if I wanted to shoot 8K, I would have that option, and I would notice the quality more because the resolution isn't being wasted by inferior glass. And having the range from 15 to 35 instead of 16, that extra little millimeter helps. When you get to the wider end, every millimeter makes quite a bit more difference. Like a 16 to 36 would be a less noticeable change than a 15 to 35. So having that extra little millimeter, not that I really notice anything much wider, but having that extra millimeter is great. One thing I do say though, and I'm gonna just show it to you on the 24-70, is I'm not a super huge fan of extending barrels. I know it allows it to keep the lens a bit smaller when traveling, but for me, it just feels weird that on the wider end of the 15-35, like when I put it to 15 millimeter, it extends out. And since I'm almost always shooting at 15, like right now, I'm always with the bigger lens setup, and I just personally don't like that, but whatever, it's not a big deal. Bonus features that this lens comes with, that the 24-70 also comes with, is the control ring. Control ring is amazing. It's so satisfying to click, but if I want to quickly change the shutter speed, I can ruin my clip right now by just changing the shutter speed quickly like that, and that's really convenient. You can map it out to almost any setting, so aperture, ISO, whatever you want to change it to. I might actually make it ISO, but I really use it a lot during photography if I want to quickly change my shutter speed instead of using any dials. I just hold the lens out like this as I'm shooting, and if I need to quickly change a setting, I can just rotate with my fingers, turn the control ring, and change the shutter speed right there. The next thing that is really important is the fact that these lenses lenses are stabilized. Now paired with the IBIS in this camera, you get I think like 9 stops of stabilization. So shooting handheld is super nice. I find that the wobble of the R5 is a little bit less with the stabilization, but that said, I feel like it's a bit more because it's 15mm versus 16. So I think it kind of evens out. Having the stabilization means I can shoot at slower shutter speeds and low light, and just shooting handheld, it basically looks like a tripod when you're shooting handheld. I mean, it just looks great. Then obviously autofocus, manual focus switch. The focus ring is quite nice, so it's the same as the 24-70, but I'm just so used to autofocus. I don't think I ever really use manual focus with these unless I have a stationary shot and I don't want the lens to pick up something else. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It has a 67mm filter thread, so pretty much all the filters I used before work on it perfectly. I like to leave the Moment Pro Mist filter 10% on it just to get a little bit of that cinematic bloom. The fact that these two lenses are the same height and size and pretty much weight makes it really nice to travel with both of them. I can easily swap them out. I usually use the 24-70 for more like cinematic video or photography, and then the 15-35 for what I'm doing right here, right now. So hopefully this video was informative to you. If you're considering buying it, I think it's a lens that anyone who works professionally would very much love. I think it's a great investment. You may switch out the body, but having these solid RF lenses that work with RED cameras. Canon system has been kind of slow with all of this, but they're catching up a bit in the mirrorless world. So I'm very happy with these two lenses. I think they're pretty much everything I need for everything I shoot. I guess something I might need down the line is something with more range, but as of right now for what I shoot, I don't need it, so I'm not getting it. I like the minimal kit, and having a lens like this just complements it so well. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching another quick video. I have a lot to catch up on. I need to make a video for Zion, so sorry guys, I haven't made a video about the light you sent me. I will, and just very busy few weeks, and I'm gonna be traveling to another part of the world very soon, and I have to prepare for that, and so much is happening. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.